You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Newsroom After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Newsroom After Show.
Yeah! Love it. Hi, everyone. I hope you all had a fantastic 4th of July. My name is Kelly, and Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ After Show for The Newsroom. We are in Season 1, Episode 3, and this is 112th Congress. Yeah, and it's so loud in my ears right now. It's kind of throwing me off a little. Sorry, that's my bad.
It's very epic.
I know, it's so
epic. We're in the show right now.
Yes, we are. Okay.
I'm in the newsroom, you guys.
Yeah. Now I'm getting focused and I'm channeling, and now I can get it together. And I am joined by 3 fabulous ladies today, so please say hello, introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, I'm Kristin Carole.
Hi, I'm Kendra Kabasele.
Hey everybody, Sarah Mendoza.
So we're here, obviously this is the newsroom, and we have some mixed feelings about tonight's episode. Mm-hmm. And I liked it. I thought it was not as... It was a little different from the last 2 episodes, so it kind of had its own flow. But in general, I really liked it. I thought it was really funny about Will and his dates. Cheerleaders, brain surgeons, he was really going after it. What did you guys think about that, the way he conducted his dating?
I thought it definitely stayed a lot away from the personal aspect that the other ones had. So I'm glad they still brought that. It was pretty funny, but he was just parading them in there for Mackenzie's purpose, especially after that email and everything that was going on.
Honestly, and since the girls are parked right there in the center of the newsroom, who does that? It's obvious that these girls are hot. You want to just show them off.
They're not even in a waiting area. They're just right in the middle, leaning on somebody's cubicle.
Right.
Hanging out.
Just right in the view of Mackenzie as she walks out of the control room. Just happens to be right there.
But that was interesting because that led us to find out that she's been dating someone for 3 months.
Yeah.
So she can't be that, well,
she can.
That jealous, but...
Yeah.
Well, women and men are very territorial, I think, after... relationships that they were dating for a while before this whole thing happened,
right.
So naturally you feel this territorial thing, I think, with those kind of relationships. No matter how long it's been, no matter who you're dating, you're gonna feel that little pang in your gut.
Right. Just because, I'm dating somebody doesn't mean that you are allowed to date anybody. I never want to see that. It's just, but I think that's why she kept her dating life out of the newsroom, out of respect for that. Especially, I think more so too because she was the one that kind of caused the relationship to end, so she doesn't want to kind of parade that, that around. So, part of me kind of thinks he kind of had a right to do that a little, give her a different vision in her head that he has to deal with in his.
Yeah, to be like, hey, I'm wanted too, okay? You're not the only one that can go around dating whoever you want, break my heart and smash it into little pieces. Hey, I have people who want me too.
Well, it was really cute too that Maggie kind of went to her defense.
I really like that. She's like, I have something to tell you, but
it's inappropriate.
I can't tell you. Don't fire me.
Right.
Insubordinate and inappropriate. I like how she prefaced it.
And he was like, yes, that was insubordinate and inappropriate, but I don't care. And he kind of felt bad after she said something.
Right, but he does say, I wasn't doing it on purpose. I'm not parading them around. I have this vision in my head of her and her, it's like, whatever. I need the guys from Inception to come take that out of my head. He said, but I wasn't doing it on purpose. I just wasn't considering her feelings at all.
But do you actually think that he wasn't doing it on purpose? There's
subconsciously
little
probably is.
Yeah. Subconsciously, he probably was, but he was probably trying to tell himself, I'm just going to move on and I'm going to act like she's not even here and just kind of go about my business. So maybe he was
But then when he realized it, he was actually going in to apologize for having done that, being insensitive. But lo and behold, when he goes in to apologize to Mackenzie, who's there?
Her boyfriend, Wade. Her friend.
Her friend. She still doesn't
She's
want
so
to admit.
British.
Yeah, she's so British. We're more than friends. But I love that actor, John Tenney. I love him. He's on The Closer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I love The Closer.
I was gonna say
He was in Fools Rush In, too.
Oh, was he?
Love him.
Was he the friend of Matthew Perry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he was the
I
dad.
watch it all
He
the
was the
time.
dad in the green. What's the one with the ring? The superhero movie. He was Ryan Reynolds' dad.
Lantern?
The Green
Lantern,
Lantern.
there you
yes.
go.
Okay.
Oh,
So yes, I know
I
his
see
entire
that one.
acting credentials.
there you
But
go.
I know
there
him
you
as
go.
That's where you know from. Yeah.
Wow, somebody's obsessed over here. She like memorized the IMDb.
I know. I have his whole IMDb page. No, he's just one of those people that I genuinely enjoy his acting. So when he pops up places, I'm like, oh, hey.
Right.
You know, I think he's great.
Yes.
I was gonna say Will could have been also parading them for his own purposes, just so the staff doesn't get on him about
Could
dating,
be.
you know, just hey, I got ladies, you know.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
not,
don't
I'm
feel
not all
bad for me.
depressed
Yeah.
and, you know, sitting in my office
Right.
and crying.
Yeah.
So that's true. That's a good way to look at
Or
it.
maybe to help his own self-esteem as well, because he has to kind of prove to himself, like, hey, I still got it.
Right. Yeah. You know, he needs to, you know, kind of pump himself up a little. So that could be the case.
And I like the ladies that he chose to weren't just young. He could have paraded around probably very young girls that were
Right.
a bit, you know.
They're
Gold
professional
diggers.
too.
Yeah,
they were all professionals in their
Yes.
own right, and they were
Yeah.
kind of a mix of looks. You know, they all were a little bit different from the one before. So that, you know, was a variety of ladies.
It was really cute when he was talking to Mackenzie about the brain surgeon.
Yeah.
And she was like, I could do that.
Well, I like the one before where she's like, you know, you're a famous person on television, so just because of that, she might want to sleep with you. And he's like, that should not be considered a warning. That should be told to me with balloons.
Right.
Right. Should be something to be celebrated.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, he's
Typical
such a
guy thing to
typical
say,
guy.
but so hilarious.
Yeah. And, you know, and he needs to kind of get out there. In this episode, we see his character changing. And this episode is over a 6-month span. So we get to see he's, you know, kind of getting back into his old self, which is what Charlie wanted in the first place. Didn't want him to be this, you know, cookie cutter, just social, like what a human interest story person. He wanted him to actually report the news the way that he used to. So we are seeing that kind of change in his character going back to that, you know, hard-hitting news guy. So I thought that was a little, you know, he's getting his confidence back. You know, we see that with the dating and with like all of that. And, you know, he just has a little bit more of a swagger about him and not so much of an ass. You know, I think at least
Swagger.
Hashtag
swagger.
I think it was more that than it was just him being such a jerk to everybody. It was
Yeah.
just a little bit different.
And
this
I like-
time.
Yeah, you learn his background too, that he was a prosecutor
Yeah.
before that, and that's where you see his tone change as well. I thought that was a very cool thing because he was very quick, and you think so, well, he's a, you know, anchor. I mean, not that I know anchors and I've been one, but you know, he was just. He was using it as a courtroom a little bit more, and then you learned that he actually was a lawyer. So I thought that was a very interesting tidbit.
Well, yeah, and it also goes back to his intelligence because they say he graduated college at 19. He was out of law school by 21, and then he was a prosecutor in Brooklyn, I think they said.
Right.
And 97% rate. Prosecution rate.
Yeah. And that is, you know, that again goes back to just how smart he really is.
Right.
And how disappointed Charlie was to see him just kind of lay off and kind of go into that kind of rest where he was just doing what the ratings wanted him to do.
Right.
So now he's back on top of his game and, you know, the people really aren't liking it.
Well, as a managing editor for Newsnight and being the anchor, I think it helps that he has that investigative background where he's really going to do the digging, find the hard facts on both sides so that, you know, they can accurately, you know, it's their duty to put out the facts for the public to decide.
Right. And that's mainly what this episode was all about, was the changing of this news broadcast. Because in the beginning of the episode, he goes on and, you know, they show an apology from a senator about 9/11. And then they go into his apology. And he apologizes for basically not reporting hard-hitting news and for letting the ratings kind of navigate where he was going to go instead of, doing what he should have been doing, which is just reporting the facts and giving the public a really hardcore news show. And that's very gutsy to do, especially when you're working for a network that drives on stockholders and ratings and all of that. And this episode kind of gets into all of that. And will people still watch it if it's just the boring news?
Especially for a cable channel, it's a lot harder too, even nowadays, to keep that momentum going and build an audience when you're not on a national channel.
Yeah.
Well, I think for something like that, I guess we're getting into the show a
yeah,
little bit right
okay.
now.
We can go ahead and just go for it. We'll backtrack back.
But to do something so gutsy like that, dramatic or not, that is going to make people at least want to watch the next episode and see where they went with it. Because they're making a statement, and there's going to be changes that are coming. People are going to want to stay tuned to see, like, okay, let's see what they do now that they've announced that they're going to be going in this new direction.
Right.
So it would have been good, I think, for at least that follow-up show for the ratings anyways, if they're looking at it from that perspective.
Right. And I don't necessarily think it was a boring news broadcast. I mean, here's somebody that is turning it, as we talked about, into a courtroom, and he's questioning these people. Right. And it's during the election, right? It's during the election time of, 2010? Is that where it said? So it's, it's election time, and he's asking hardcore questions to these politicians, to these candidates. What does this actually mean? You're saying this, but do you know that you're really saying this? Give me some good answers. And honestly, just as a voter, I would rather watch that kind of broadcast. I want to know, do you understand what you're saying? Are you really going to do what it is that you're saying? And I love that he was questioning them that, harsh.
He had to be. I mean, and they were playing with that too. We saw how the politician was like, "I can't hear you."
Yeah. That was the publicist in the background. That was me. Everybody clap louder. Clap louder.
That was smart on his behalf.
Yeah.
Static.
Yeah. It was totally his PR person. Clap louder, guys. Like in the background. Louder.
So he had to counter that with some toughness. He couldn't have just been like, "Oh, well, he can't hear me."
Yeah.
Hang up, So.
Yeah.
Going back to the courtroom analogy, I thought it was so funny when Charlie was like, or they were questioning Charlie, saying like, "Since when does the newsroom has the newsroom become a courtroom?" And Charlie was like, was it Charlie that answered and said, "Well, I made a decision that the newsroom would be a courtroom when I decided that Americans needed an effing lawyer."
Yes. And and I liked that, and I kind of feel a little bit like that, and as I said before, I don't really get too hardcore into politics, and that's the reason why, is because a lot of the times when you watch these electoral debates and you watch all of that, it is kind of, at least personally to me, a little bit of fluff and bullshit. So I liked that he was asking those hard questions, and I would like to see more of that, like on, and maybe it is, and I just, don't really see it or know. So if you guys are out there and you see that, there are news broadcasts that are like that, let me know, because I just, I don't regularly watch MSNBC, but, but I just like that he was pushing it to that limit and going that far and saying, what exactly are we talking about here? And being, kind of a smartass about it, acting like a lawyer. I thought it was great.
Right.
I feel like most of those political shows that I've seen, at least, if they do start questioning that way, it gets into the form of them yelling at each other.
Yeah. And
so there is a debate, but you can't hear anything that's going on.
Because then it gets into a fight. So I think the way that, he keeps up, there's a very good calm about him where he's stern, but he can ask a hard question and he waits to get an answer. Where he gets a little bit agitated, like he asked one of his guests on the news broadcast, what did he say? Like, does, Kentucky, does a private-owned business have the right to discriminate based on race, yes or no? And the guy goes into an explanation. He's like, no, it's a yes or no question. It should be easy to answer, which is true. Boom. Don't let him go off in his tangent of whatever he's explaining. Answer the question. And I kind of liked that. But it's scary because you are going to scare off all your money makers that are paying for him to be able to be on the news and, broadcast, because, as we know, news divisions don't necessarily bring in the big bucks for these networks. So that's
they don't.
They're so they're they're really pushing the limits on there. But if you have big bucks that you'd like to spend and you like to do online shopping as I do, you can go to AfterBuzzTV.com. We have an Amazon banner direct on our site where you can click on it. It doesn't cost you anything else, just an extra click, and you can go on and do all of your online shopping there and get some great things. And I love to go. I spend way too much money. I just went on there through AfterBuzzTV.com and bought some stuff for my new house, but It's fantastic. I love it.
I do that for work too.
Do
if I
you?
get an order for something that I have to buy for, for one of the departments at work, I'll click on AfterBuzz and do it that way for Amazon. I'm like, well, I want to make sure it works.
Yes, because when you do
somebody
that,
does.
we get a little bit of a kickback, so we can continue to do these fun and fabulous shows. So please, AfterBuzzTV.com, click on the Amazon banner and get anything you need from Amazon.com. So,
all in one breath.
So that's the newscast that's within the show. What did you guys think about how the show was done in portraying the newscast and the characters for this episode?
I wanted to say Allison Pill's character, Maggie. I think she stepped it up. I mean, each show, I think she gets a little better at what she's doing, but she's representing for associate producer.
Yeah.
You know, she stood up to Will and the rest of the staff this time and stood her ground, and Will ended up agreeing with her on her viewpoint. Even though she's still, she seems a little insecure about her decisions, but she's still, she stares everyone down until she's like, oh, approved? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. So, I don't know. What do you think about her?
Oh, I love her character, Maggie. She's so likable. Like, she's the girl you want to see succeed.
Right.
I see
You're
a
cheering
miniature
for her.
Mackenzie in the making, Like, she even said it before, like, that's me. 20 years ago when she or whatever when she was explaining to Jim, right?
Yeah.
And I think they've portrayed her that way. Like, this is obviously somebody who has a lot of potential, who can be like a Mackenzie one day and, really take her career far. And it shows that potential, how bad she wants it with each episode, even though she might be stumbling over her words. At least she's trying, and at least she's speaking up and giving her input for all the newscasts.
Yeah, she just has, she's a little bit of an insecurity, which causes her to have these panic attacks, which we see that she has one in the show. But I think once she can kind of rein that in and get a good hold on that, it'll definitely help her in not only her personal relationships, but also to be, to kind of go even a little bit extra in work, because she is already stepping it up. She's doing, she's doing good, and she's smart.
Yeah.
She's really smart. I liked what she said about when they were reporting on the news, and she talked about if the religion of the bomber was important, I think the religion of the person that saved us is important too.
Right.
And that's a great way to look at it. Even though the average person would be, oh, why do we have to know that he's Muslim because he called it in? Well, that's an important fact, because if the bomber is, why do we have to know that? Because if it was a religious reason when you're doing, you know what I mean? So the way that she's looking at things, shows that she is capable of doing this job. She's not just an assistant. She actually can think on her feet, which I think is great.
Outside the box, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She'd be even better, I think, if she got rid of Don.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We had Jim scoop
Or
in
if she had
and
Jim, 'cause
building her
he's
confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so cute.
She calmed down with her panic attack when he
I-
came over.
And
And
again,
touched her neck
it goes back
Twice.
to take her pulse.
Twice.
Air quotes.
But it goes back to Don not being a supportive boyfriend. He's just very wrapped up in himself, very selfish, because he just tells Jim, oh, she has panic attacks, she's on the terrace.
Yeah.
Doesn't even want to go and help her, comfort her, do anything. He's just kind of
Right.
like, oh, she's there. And Jim goes out and he helps calm her down and, just gives her a pep talk that she's awesome, everybody likes you, you're good, relax.
And then we
Right.
find out that she's been talking about him, apparently.
Yes, because her
that was
roommate was
him.
on the
Yeah.
phone. Because she's taking Xanax and her roommate's friends are stealing her Xanax, poor thing. So she's on the phone with her roommate when, Jim finds her on the terrace, and she, we find out that the roommate's listening to the whole kind of exchange, the little exchange that they have. And when she picks the phone back up, she says, oh, yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
So, I think that she's crushing on him about as much as he's crushing on her.
Oh, yeah.
That's why she's mean to him all the time, I think. I think that's her flirty, but she doesn't know what to do with these
Right.
feelings, so she's just going to be mean.
Like you're a little kid, you push the
Yeah.
guy in the sandbox.
Totally.
Or
They're in
ankles,
kindergarten.
pigtails.
Yes.
She's doing the whole, like, I'm not supposed to like you
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I think that's what's going on. Because she even says, I don't know why I'm so mean to you.
Yeah.
But I think that they're cute. And,
Yes.
hopefully we'll see something kind of spark happen. I don't know. Because I'm kind of over Don.
I've been over Dawn.
It's not going to happen
Dawn's
this
over
season,
Dawn.
though.
No, he'll be around. But I want him to do something redeeming, like something to justify what's going on with them. Because they've broken up, 5 times, gotten back together 6
Right.
at this point.
Well, he might be the guy, though, on the season that we're never going to he's just going to be that guy that we hate the whole season.
Could be. I don't know.
Oh, I loved when his anchor told him off.
Yes. That was fantastic.
There's 3 options, and number 3 is I'm going to fire you.
Yeah.
But then we find out that maybe he has been tripping about being broken up with Maggie because this guy apparently knows Don pretty well, and he knows that maybe he's being like that, being an a-hole because he's torn up inside about the relationship having ended.
Right. Well, I think too that maybe he's not as bad of a guy as what he kind of comes off as. I think he's just selfish, and he's just career driven, you know, because even, you know, what was the anchor's name? Was it Elliot?
Something like that.
Is that his name? I don't know. We'll have to,
Sure.
I have
The
to
10
look
p.m. anchor. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, he even tells him, I'm not the one that wants to be a star. You know, so obviously he wants to be like Mackenzie. You know, Mackenzie's name got mentioned on the air in the apology. And I think that is what he's his goal is. He wants to be a star executive producer. He wants to be the man, and he is nowhere near that right now. You have to know how to talk to your people. And just because, you know, Mackenzie and Will have that, that's a banter that they've built up. She can talk to him the way that she does because they have a relationship. And I don't think that Don gets that. I don't think his character gets that you have to treat people a certain way in order. You have to give respect to get respect. You don't just walk up to somebody and say, hey, get your shit together, and, you know, or, you know, stop, I'm doing all the work here, you're doing nothing. It's not a good, you know, it's not a good managerial kind of technique.
Right. I mean, you can't become a Mackenzie, you know, having your center focus be, I want to be a star. Being Mackenzie is somebody who's really passionate about the industry, being a journalist, uncovering real news. And I think that's where he's, you know, it's not lining up for him, is that he's not there yet with his true, it's not sincere, his intention.
Yeah, no.
He just wants the accolades,
numbers,
I think,
yeah,
at this point.
Yeah, and because I think he's still a little bit young and naive and doesn't really fully get it. I think he might, you know, he's obviously going at it for the wrong reasons. So, you know, and I think he's jealous at this point of what Mackenzie is doing because he's nowhere, you know, because even Maggie says something about the car that he drives and, you know, all of this. So he's he's one of those people that worries about how things look and how he's all about presentation. Because if she's over here, you know, making comments about he doesn't drive as nice of a car as Mackenzie and like all of this, you know, he's really trying to be at her level, and he's just not. So I'm going to be curious to see how much more we see of him and if we'll see any kind of progression, if he'll kind of grow as a character with that. I don't know.
I think he's going to get some sort of awakening, you know, at one point in this season, but whether he's going to grow for it or just kind of like fall off and go the other way and really go nuts, you know, that's yet to be seen. But I think somebody's going to give him some kind of awakening.
Well, we got a little bit of it today with that, you know, he kind of got put in his place a little bit today, but it also makes me wonder, did he just get back with her so he can calm down, or does he really want to be with her?
Right, because it might have just been like, oh crap, I can't sacrifice my career not being stable, and if she makes me stable, then okay, I'm gonna get back with her.
Zone.
Yeah.
Even still, it's a selfish reason for him to get back. If it's either for his career or the fact that he, you know, does miss her, it's not putting her feelings. I mean, for him to be with her is not good for her.
Right.
No,
she needs a gym.
Yes, she does.
A gym.
It all comes back to that.
Maybe not even him. Maybe she just needs some alone time.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Work on
To be away from
herself.
him.
Yeah.
Because he's
Yeah.
toxic.
Well, I think that she also, you know, she might need a little bit of some alone time. She might need to kind of come into her new position. You know, I think she's a little overwhelmed by it.
Right.
She doesn't feel. I mean, I think she knows she can do it, but there's I don't think that there's that confidence yet that she needs, and Don just is not helping that. I think he's making it worse.
Right, because it's such a high pressure job, an AP in a newsroom where you're trying to prove yourself in an industry that's so demanding, and it can be very, you know, ugly.
Yeah.
A healthy relationship is not going to help that. You need basically a boyfriend therapist.
Yeah.
Which is what Jim could be.
Yes, and see, he's got these little techniques. He knows how to calm her down. Even if it's just for him to be a punching bag, he takes it.
Right.
He doesn't fight back with her. He just takes it and kind of is like, okay.
Was I the only one laughing though when he was spouting out like facts about panic attacks?
Yes.
How how does I know he's smart, but does he really know that this is a stage too, and this is what that and that means?
Well, remember he said he
sounds like he's went through it before.
Well, he said he was when he was overseas with the military, he was stationed with this unit of guys, and a lot of them had them. So I think that's why he knew so much about them, because they're sitting around.
It was a lot of technical terms that he rambled off. I'm like, I can understand where he knows how to deal with it. You know, let me feel your pulse and feel on my finger kind of stuff.
But the scientific biological
was a lot.
reasoning.
I know he's smart, but that whole thing.
I think he was nervous too.
And then she was like, if only your face would stop moving so I could punch it. She's like, what are you talking about? I have a panic attack. Just shut up. Stop telling me numbers and all this.
But all of that was probably a tactic. Like, it helped her calm down.
Right.
You know,
just getting her mind off of something, you know. And I think that she really wants to punch him just because she really wants to kiss him.
Or like, punch you with my lips.
Absolutely.
You can punch me back.
Oh my God.
That's what the kids call it these days.
I know.
Sucker punch.
So if you ever hear us talking about punching,
that's what we're talking
just
about.
A hashtag will be just like Jim and Maggie punch.
It's a hardcore makeout session.
Oh yeah.
I'd punch that.
Well, I like that Neil was trying to be a matchmaker. You know, he was trying to be a little bit of a matchmaker. He's like,
so he knows. He can tell that something's going on.
That's because Neil knows how to get some. So.
Yeah, he does. Neil gets some action.
Yeah, where did that come from? He was like naked in a bed with a gorgeous, beautiful woman.
Hey, he's not just a nerd, okay? Nerds are hot right now.
They are.
Hey, the nerds are the future Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. You know, they're going to...
that's true.
Women are going to be lining up for those guys.
How cute is he? I love Dave Patel. He's so cute.
I like
little
him
muscles
with Jim like hanging out in the bar.
I know.
Little bromance.
Yeah.
I like that.
He's talking about WikiLeaks and all this nerd stuff, and it's like,
and it makes him cuter.
It does. It's very cute. Very, very cute.
We got very girly right there. So to our male viewers,
I know. Sorry about that. We're gonna get back on topic.
It's reminding me. Oh, sorry. One more. It's reminding me of, because we were on Smash together before, we're Smash fans, and there was someone named Dev on that show.
Oh,
but he was the actual character that we thought was hot too. So
yeah, he was
saying Dev is reminding me of that.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't turn into that Dev.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Oh, okay. I know. I watched that show. He was a cheater. I don't know. Well, you guys can log on to iTunes and you can tell us what you guys think about Neil and Jim and Maggie and that whole situation. So please go to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast. It's free, and you can, we've gotten some, a lot of you have rated us so far, so we really, really thank you for that. And please, leave a comment and let us know, what you think of the show, and if there's anything that we're forgetting to bring up, please, comment, and you can always listen live and call us and all of that stuff. And also, Apple has a new podcast app, which I actually just downloaded today on my iPad, which is fantastic. It's free, and it organizes all of your podcasts that you subscribe to for you. So it makes an easy catalog where you can go in and listen to all the new shows. So don't forget to do that when you have a chance.
I wish I had an iPhone. Does anybody want to go to Amazon and buy me one?
I know. I love my iPad. People are always asking me to FaceTime, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Ooh. I have an Android.
Oh, I tried that at the store.
Sounds like they want to punch you.
Yeah, they might.
Let's FaceTime so I can pretend I'm punching you.
Too bad my iPad doesn't have a phone number.
Does it have a camera?
It has a camera and stuff, but I don't
it's
really
like video
know.
Chat. It's
Yeah, I think it's. I don't really know. I'll have to figure that out.
It's like Skype.
I'll have to go to iTunes and they can explain it to me. I don't really know what it is. So we get into Charlie. I love Charlie.
Oh, me too.
I wish I had a boss like Charlie. He's fantastic.
I wish I had a grandpa or another grandpa like Charlie, because I love my grandpas, but he's fun. He is super, super smart, and I like that he has no fear. He's been in this business for a really long time. He knows what he's doing, and he's very observant. He knows what makes everybody tick, and he's just really, watching that newsroom. He's faxing polling results from, other things to get Will's mind working. He's,
you know, he made this new team to kind of, you know, very kind of under the radar. He just strategically places things. He plays chess with all of them, and I like it.
And I like the fact, too, as a boss, that he's protective over them. I mean, every time Will came up to him countless times during this episode going, how is this going over on the, you know, 44th floor? And he goes, it's fine. I'll let you know when we have a problem. And, you know, how's it going now? Oh, it's totally okay.
Right.
Don't worry. Let's have a drink.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that he's been in the business for a while because you're right. He's very strategic about not only the show, but how he handles the people that are working for him on the show. He knows how to wield them in certain directions so that what is produced or what is put up on air come showtime is something that's great.
Right, without them even realizing that that's what he's doing until after the fact, which makes him even better at what he does. But, you know, it keeps flashing back to him in this boardroom, and that's when we're introduced to Jane Fonda's character. And I love her.
Yeah.
I do. But all I ever see now is, like, Monster-in-Law when I see it. That's what always flashes back to me.
I loved her in that movie.
But no, she is, I think we find out she pretty much runs the network. And we find out that Reese is her son. And he is
nepotism.
And he is the president of the company.
Right.
But I love that Charlie is so mean to him. He's, you know, he just is not having, you know, has zero respect for this kid and just doesn't want to hear anything he has to say.
Right.
You know, and we know that Reese is all about ratings. You know, he was the one feeding the ratings to Will and, you know, keeping him abreast of all of that and kind of trying to scare him into this kind of format that they wanted based on, you know, the public's opinion of him.
Right.
And now that he's kind of deferring from that, everybody is getting all shaken up.
He's like, how did this guy get here? Like, every time he looks at Reese, he's like, how did you get in here?
Like, who are you?
The reason why is because he's been in this business for so long, and he's gone through it all from the bottom up, no nepotism involved, and here he sees this kid who just happens to be sort of born into it because his mother owns the network or whatever. And of course he's going to be annoyed. You know, this person has not put in nearly as much work as I have, and he's telling me what to do for ratings.
Yeah.
Like, I know what to do for ratings. I've been in this business.
Right. And right now he's really not that worried about the ratings. And we find, you know, we find out that it's a 7% drop, which 7% drop really isn't. I mean, it's a lot, but it's not that big of a, you know, it's not a huge loss. So it's not something that they can't, you know, come back up with. So I think that they can afford that. But, you know, when it comes to budgets and money and, you know, sponsors and advertisers and all of that, a 1% loss is too much. So I get, you know, from a business standpoint where they're coming from, but they're just on two sides of the fence. These guys are looking at it as a business deal, and Charlie's looking at it like, I want to watch the news. Like, our viewers have a right to know the facts. So let's, you know, cut the BS and let's just give them the facts, like, straight down the middle, because that's what it is. We're not going right or left. We're just, you know, talking about the facts. So if these people are coming on the show making themselves look stupid, how is that our fault?
The hard thing is, when you get into such a big company, too, you know, we find out Jane Fonda's, you know, as she kept saying, Leona, Jane Fonda, but she's a force to be reckoned with herself.
Yeah, that's
you
why.
know, she's got, you know, business with this Congress that's going in there, and that makes it a little bit harder. And she has a good point too, because the network needs money, or she has bills that help with the network, and you know, so her agenda switches based on that too. So she was telling him, you know, I don't want you to stop saying this, just diet down, because they're in Congress now. And you know, she sends out some, I would not mess with her.
No.
And
she brings up the point priority-wise that only 3% of what the network is making has to do with their little show that they've got going on.
Yeah, so don't mess up the rest of that 97% based off of this 3. Right. And you see that in regular news too.
Yeah, and we see like the Koch brothers, I guess, pulled out of advertising for the network, which are, you know, according to the, you know, in the show, they are, you know, billionaires and own everything. So if you go up against them, it's not really a fight you want to, you know, pick.
Yeah, it's like basically going up against Bill Gates. You just don't pick a fight with that man.
No, and that's
Will's been going against them for the past how many weeks?
Yeah, because you know, it's been what, 6 months that I think was the was the duration of this one. So by the end of it, you know, he's upsetting a lot of money people, and that's what she has a problem with. You know, she says that she agrees with what they're saying. She agrees that these people, you know, are what they're saying that they are, but at the same time, she has a business to run. So I don't want you to lie or, you know, say anything you don't want to say, but, you know, chill out. So, and then she threatens to fire him, which is something I don't think that Charlie expected.
Right.
So that, you know, we'll see if
stuff just got real.
It did. It got
really
real.
Did. I don't know about you guys, but you know, places that I've worked with news too, I've seen, you know, I won't name specifically, but I've seen that a few times where it's like, let's not run this story because so-and-so is going to be here next week, or let's do this view because that's what our company likes. Don't not show this, but kind of turn it down a little bit. That's not the important factor in what we're showing.
Right.
And for me to watch, you know, this episode and hear that, it was very true, which is what I like about this show, is it keeps a decent amount of it real.
Right. I mean, a lot of people keep, you know, going back to, you know, this is not a real news brought, you know, well, no, it's not. This is entertainment. It gives you bits and pieces of what it's like to really be in these situations.
Right.
But, you know, a lot of that too, it reminds me of just things that I do in my job. I mean, when you know, are a publicist and you represent, you know, really significant people, you know, you have a little bit of control over that sometimes. So if they've got a story, you know, depending on your relationships with media, you know, you can have someone call you and say, hey, I've got this story, you know, I'm planning to run this. Do you have anything to say? And then I can in turn come back and say, well, how about we talk about this?
Yeah.
You know, I'll give you this if you hold that, you know, and there's a way to manipulate it. And that, you know, it really does work that way in a lot of different, you know, aspects. So especially when it comes to politics, I can only imagine,
Right.
you know, because if I'm doing a little bit of that in entertainment, then I can only imagine what these political press people are having to do, and these strategists and all of that.
Right.
Hence the extra clapping in the background. I can't hear you. You know, that was definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So-
want to hear what they want to answer. They only hear
Yeah.
On the Sorkin show side, I like that was kind of thrown in there, because now there's a stake. Because before this, it's just them trying to revamp their news, make it more, you know, more fact-driven and, you know, the hard-hitting questions and all that. But there's no real stake, right? But now we're learning, like, oh, crap, Will might lose his job. Now there's this real conflict. What do we do? Now we really feel the tension, like,
Right.
you know, choosing between doing what the network wants and doing what we really feel, or what they I really feel like I'm with them.
Yeah.
What they really feel like is good news.
Yeah. And, you know, or can they come up with a compromise? You know, is Charlie going to actually come clean about what's going on, at least maybe to Mackenzie? And maybe, you know, not necessarily to
Right.
Will, just to kind of be able to find a compromise where they can still do kind of what they want to do, but on a little bit of a toned down level.
I would think
You
it'd be
know.
important to say something.
Yeah, but I can, you know, but as we know her character to be, I can't, you know, I wonder how much of a fight she'll put up, and how insubordinate they will turn out to be if they'll test this "I will fire you" threat. If they're going to test, you know, see.
Well, if
Will's
Mackenzie knows, Will's going to know.
Right.
And I think
And then
Will's gonna
potentially
put up
the
a
whole-
fight.
Yeah, it'll be very hard to keep it from him. But that
Yeah.
no compete clause for 3 years in the contract it is a death sentence. If he's off the air for
Right.
3 years, he's, you know, if you're off the air for, you know, 3 months, it's, you know,
It's
that's
hard to get
dangerous.
back in.
Can't he? Does that
Yeah.
include podcasting? Because he can just start his own.
I don't know.
Then
We'll
he
have to
can
look
take
into
over
that.
the blog that Deb or
Yeah.
Neil actually writes.
He doesn't even have to type it, as we saw.
Right, he
Speaks it
just
into a microphone.
voices it in.
Because then it's a life sentence. It's not a death sentence. It's a rebirth.
He can do something else. But
I don't know if
they're not going to do that, you know.
Well, I mean, then
Yeah.
I'm not part of the writing team, so.
What do you guys think about the way that the show portrays the women characters, the female characters? Do you think it's a lot of men setting women straight kind of thing, or do you think that these are women that actually have
In the newsroom or the dates?
on the show in general, like the way we see women introduced? I mean, what do you think about it?
I think they've been all powerful pretty much, even with their insecurities. I think we see a lot of, you know, ambition and intelligence, and I can appreciate them.
I saw the article that you're referring to, where, you know, people are giving it some flack because they're saying that it's degrading, or it's, you know, they're portraying women as being underneath the men, like what you said. But in my eyes, I think it's just a realistic thing that they're portraying that does happen in a newsroom. But despite that, people like Mackenzie and Maggie are going to keep trying.
I don't see them as underneath.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because in their own way, they're on top. You know, even though there's the news director above them, I feel like they're still in control.
Well, I think that some of the critiques of this show are a little bit silly. I mean,
agree. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they're really kind of really trying to pick it apart and find something wrong with it because of the nature of it. It's a kind of behind the scenes look that isn't factual. This is not a biography. This is not a behind, you know, the music kind of thing. Right. This is
not a true Hollywood story.
This is an entertainment show. And it gets a little frustrating sometimes to see this because especially, you know, being a female in the entertainment business, it's hard because whether we like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, it's kind of a man's world. Right now, men make more money than women. They just do. Even if you're in the same job, more than likely, if a man was doing it, he'd make more money than you. And it sucks, but that's just the way life is. So you deal with it and you move on. And I think that's kind of what her character does. Like I don't think she's a damsel in distress. And everybody goes back to the fact that, we're supposed to believe that she was in the Middle East covering the news and she can't work an email. Give me a break. How many times?
I saw that too. That's stupid.
That's so stupid because
it was just a comic element in that episode. We're not speaking to her intelligence with the whole email thing. It was just funny.
And not only that, with the changes in technology and stuff, and with the little bitty keypads, and you have these automatic commands.
Some of our thumbs are chubbier than others.
More times it's going to happen.
And she had more important matters when she's covering stuff in the Middle East.
We're not worrying about emails when we're in the Middle East worrying about getting shot.
Right. Give her a break. She just uncovered a breaking story. She can press the wrong button on her tiny phone.
I mean, it happens. It doesn't make any of us less intelligent or less capable of doing, anything like that just because, oh my gosh, we typed the wrong button.
It really bugs me. People are really critiquing Aaron Sorkin.
Yes.
They're nitpicking every single little thing. I have no idea why. And
that's because he's such a big name. And it's a new show and people like to talk.
Right, and to go along with this is supposed to be in our gossip section, but I just want to talk about it now because it goes with it. But there's a video out there. It's called a supercut Sorkinisms, right? And it's a compilation of Sorkin dialogue from his different shows that he's worked on for the past decade or so. And really, when it was put out there, it was meant to be a tribute for his choice of words that he uses with the different characters. And he does tend to recycle different phrases and just types of themes within his characters. And the way that this person actually worked with Sorkin, so it's obvious he's not bashing him, right? It was meant to be a tribute. But then people are posting it all over the web. I saw saying that, oh, look, he recycles his words. So they turned it again into a negative thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, this is poetry. This is just his style.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. But all of these people keep saying that Mackenzie's character is written as someone that, is... she can't send an email, she can't do all of this, and it just, I don't know, let's take a quick break, let's get into it. I'm going to pull some other parts out of this, and then we can discuss it a little bit further when we come back.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
The old woolly bear. I love that. All right. So we know that, yes, just because Mackenzie can't send an email doesn't make her stupid. So
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line here. So let's get into some news and gossip, and then we'll do predictions.
TV news.
Technical difficulties.
Godzilla was in here.
That woolly bear.
The woolly bear
took
distracted
over.
us. Woolly bear.
Okay, so do you have some news? I have a little bit of news.
I got some news too.
All right. Well, I heard that Terry Crews is supposed to appear on the newsroom alongside Jeff Daniels, and you know Terry from he was in
Family Cruise.
He was in Everybody Hates Chris. He's in The Expendables.
And Family
Cruise.
Cruise. They had a reality show with his family. It was nice. It
Okay.
was refreshing, actually.
But I love that his character is supposed to be like a life coach to his character. I think, he's a bodyguard and an unofficial life coach to Jeff Daniels' character, to Will.
That's
So
gonna be fun.
he's supposed to appear on the 6th episode, which is July 29th. So that's according to Entertainment
Nice.
Weekly. So that'll be fun to see what kind of life coach his bodyguard's
I
going to
think
be.
Don needs a life coach too, so
Maybe they
maybe
can
he
help
should
each other
offer
out.
his services to him.
What do you have?
Well, big news, breaking news. After only 2 episodes, we are renewed for another season.
I know, yay.
So we will be here next season, guys, talking to you about the newsroom. So that's great news. So
Absolutely.
that's the good news. The sort of bad news is ratings dipped about 20% for the 2nd episode. Hopefully it'll be up now for the 3rd episode, but yeah, so we still have a long way to go. It'll be interesting to see, how it progresses. But good news, there's another season for them to keep on going and building.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Another fun little thing that I saw on Huffington Post. It was an interview with Alison Pill's character, or Alison Pill on her character, Maggie, and so she was saying that on the first read-throughs for the cast, Aaron Sorkin had given everybody what he called survival kit, and it came with the script and then a headshot of him. And so they put his picture on their mirror so that anytime they're hanging out, for her it was near her couch at home, she'd be sitting down about to watch television, but then she'd see his face and remember that, she has to go do her lines.
Over her lines.
Yeah,
Okay.
go over her lines.
That's
so I thought
cute.
that was really cute.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I really, really like her. And, she's engaged to Jay. I'm going to butcher his last name, I know. But Jay Baruchel. He was in the How to Train Your Dragon. He was the voice.
Oh,
he was
and
in
Fanboys and She's Out of My League.
She's Out of My League. He was the main guy. She's Out of My League.
I did not know that. That's
They are
adorable.
engaged. Yes, they
That's
are.
cute.
They are
Congrats
cute.
to them.
Yes.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
it's a cute little, fun little tidbit. All right, so
Thank you.
let's get into some predictions and see what we think is going to happen next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Kendra, let's start with you.
No pressure. Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. There's so many different, storylines to choose from. Let's go with someone else first.
Okay. How about you?
I'm hoping that there will be less strings of only dialogue about politics and center more on the relationships of the cast members in the show.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
I agree with you. I like it's better. I thought the 2nd episode was better because you see their personal interactions more.
Yes.
This is more story driven, which may be good for certain members of the audience. But personally, I
Right.
like the witty banter a lot more and kind of seeing their interactions. I think it should still focus on the news, obviously,
Right.
but add that personal touch makes you it connects you better to the characters. I feel at least. But I'd like to see a little bit more of be interesting Jane Fonda's ultimatum there, and how that affects.
Yeah, we only
Like,
have her
who
for one more
finds
episode,
first?
I think. So
Yeah,
At least
but then
right
she
now.
can reoccur.
yeah.
And I bet she will.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be nice to see. Well, I think that, and maybe I'm reaching a little on this, but I think that this episode, I think that the way that it was made was kind of made to give us like the same kind of thing that the audience for that new show that they were doing was getting.
Yeah.
That it was more of a just straight focus on facts.
Yeah.
And a little bit of what they kind of claimed to be, which even though I didn't think it was like a boring new show, but it was just like no fluff, no nothing. And I think that is what we got out of that episode, where it was a little bit but not much. It was more focused on the episode, so we get to kind of see a little of what that news news night audience got. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I felt like this episode was a little more of a montage within an hour.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to see how, because we saw from the preview that Dawn is hooking up Jim with Maggie's roommate. So I want to see how jealous she gets of that.
Of all the people, it's her roommate.
I know. Well, he did that on purpose. I know he did. So I want to see how jealous she gets, and if there's a big stink that happens.
Well, and then if the roommate was on the phone, doesn't she kind of?
She knows. That's what's horrible about it.
Then she's not that
Maybe
good of a roommate.
she's in it because she knows that she's going to get
wants to-
jealous.
Well, let's hope that's it.
I think I want to see how, everything you guys mentioned kind of culminates in how it affects the news process, like how everyone's interaction affects the news,
Like them being able to work together and getting their stuff done and all that.
seeing how they handle, because I'm sure they're going to come into some of the heavier stories that happened in real life, because every episode has, a story based off of reality. So just to see how they kind of join together or break apart, does that affect their ratings, etc. The behind the scenes.
Right.
I think I want to see that.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for the next episode. I want to see where it all goes, how it all comes together.
One more thing. You can now, if you're a fan of us, you can send us stuff if you want to. We have our address up on the website now. If you click on, or go to AfterBuzzTV.com, snail mail us, and click on contact. And we have a new little link there. Yeah, sorry.
If you actually want to write a letter and send mail,
Yes.
you can also find us on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV, and you can follow me at Kellie with an IE079.
And you can follow me, Kristin Carole, at TheFan2C.
I'm at Kendra Kabasele.
And I'm at Sarah with an H Mendoza. I want to give a shout out to some of our listeners tonight. Eddie Ginsburg is watching or has been watching. Adrian and Shane Lucas, my dear friend at Hawaii News Now, is watching us right now too.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please continue to go to iTunes, subscribe to our podcast, rate and comment, tell us what you think. You can also, don't forget to look for us on Facebook too at AfterBuzz TV, and we will see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.